you do understand that we need to talk about Interview with the Vampire then. You know, it's just what we've done now. We've already kind of piqued everyone's interest. We need to just go ahead and go with it.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, and that's what I heard, like, from other people, you know, that like they're pretty much
it's
like
true.
gay,
It's truer. Yeah, it's true to well, you know, Lestat. Whatever. I don't want to get into this. This is gonna get into the show. We're gonna go. It's gonna be like speeding downhill fast. enjoy this.
You want fuck, we already got people in here talking. What's up, Knox? Ashford, Lewis, and Lestat are literally lovers in the book, though.
Hey, Knox.
Yeah.
Let's do it. You know what?
Yeah,
let's just do it. Let's do Interview with the Vampire first, and then go to Andor.
Yeah, then we'll go to Andor. Because I'm way more excited about talking about this show than Andor right now. Maybe next week was the finale, but
I was so excited. I was so excited about talking about this last week. That's how excited I was when I was watching. I was like, "This is so good."
I know. Last week we were saying like, "Oh, we didn't do it. We didn't do Interview," but I'm like, "Hey, you know, the finale is coming Sunday. Let's just watch the finale and then talk about it. You know, this Thursday." Man,
I literally watched the finale, like at 1:00 in the morning. Just like,
I can see. Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
What's up? House of Nerds. What's up?
Hey, that's awesome.
So we'll just start right into it. I mean, we're already kind of going anyway. So we're gonna talk about the last episode 5, 6, and 7 of Interview with the Vampire season 1. So that's the end of the season. There's only 7 episodes, which is kind of weird, having it be so short. But each one was over an hour long, which was great.
Yeah. House of Nerds show. We're gonna do Interview with a Vampire first, so just so you know, you don't have to worry about Andor.
yeah, you do with that. People are missing out because the show is top tier. Legit, man. Legit top tier. It. I know. We all been saying it. Like, oh my God, Sam Reed as Lestat. Oh man,
he's so good.
He's so good.
His accent is so good. The way he takes the character and you believe that he is
himself.
Exactly. Everything was so believable. I mean, the thing I liked most about these, 5, 6, 7 was how they kind of used Claudia's diary as kind of like the basis of what we were going to see, and really understanding Claudia more and more made me like her even more and more and understand her. Can you imagine a teenager who's become a teenager, but now it's now 30 years old and still looking like a teenager? What the problems they have?
Mm-hmm. I mean, the thing she wrote in real quick. Real quick, this is like a perfect example of like just accidentally us ending at the perfect spot, because like we did 1 through 4, and that was the introduction to Claudia, and now 4 or 5, 6, and 7, which is like very Claudia,
centric.
So. Sorry, my girlfriend sent me a picture of the baby and super distracted because he's so damn adorable. So this one was like it was perfect for us to do those and then come into this, because these last 3 were perfect together. Like binge them, I don't know, that was a great way. I don't know. Were you gonna say something, Brandon? Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, I was just gonna add to that, them making it very Claudia centric, kind of her making her a little more central, and Louis and Lestat kind of background characters, everything kind of seen from her eyes really worked to the show's advantage, because it really helped it delve into vampirism. This sucks. No pun intended. But
yeah, do I have it? I don't got my thing up.
So, not everyone revels in it. You could tell Lestat really, really enjoys being a vampire. Louis kind of totters. Claudia flat out hates it. I like how they're kind of showing that balance.
But it's crazy because Claudia's more like Lestat in a lot of ways, but she loves Louis, because he loves her. But she's more like Lestat because she's more of a vampire, a killing machine. But I think part of it is just the age thing.
She likes killing people.
Yeah,
All right, so House of Nerds wants to know if you give him with a premise of the show. Can you give him a kind of a synopsis of what we're looking at for an interview with a vampire?
It starts off with I guess the main character Louis telling the story in present time to a news article guy,
an older writer. He's a great writer.
Yeah, and I guess they done it before. They back in 20 years ago they done it, and I guess Louis starts to tell you like there was a lot of things he missed and things changed and blah blah blah. You remember things differently, so he tells the story again, and it's just him in the South in New Orleans, and he falls in love, or he becomes. I want to say he doesn't fall in love right away.
I guess he does, right? With this guy,
yeah,
he's enamored first with him. I mean, he's always been a queer male, and a queer male in the 1910s, 1905s are. Yeah. It's really hard to be, and you're black. in the South, it's really difficult. And his family, had a plantation, but they don't make any money anymore because plantations don't make any money in the South anymore. So he had to go figure out to do stuff. He becomes a brothel kind of, or I don't know how to.
He was Louis the pimp.
He was a pimp. Basically, he was a pimp with a strong pimp hand.
Yeah. So yeah, that was one of the changes that I really, really enjoyed.
It made sense. It made sense what happened, because prostitution used to be legal, and it follows the law. The law definitely changed in New Orleans during that time, and how it played another character. It helped New Orleans play a character in that, and
the time, like the racism and stuff like that. Back then, the area and stuff like that. I thought that was really interesting. But then it just kind of follows Lestat and Louis, them learning to live together, kind of. Like they become basically a married couple in a sense. You have marital affairs, kind of.
Because Lestat's not really just it's not just he's gay. He's very open to everything. He's just I think he just wants to indulge himself in anything that has anything to do with love. Because I think he lost so much love throughout his early 200 years.
yeah. I know we'll get some of the other comments, but House of Nerds said, I heard good things, and I'm going to give the first episode a shot. First episode was really good.
Yeah.
It gets better the more it gets along. I mean, it started off pretty good, for at least for me, and then it just kept getting better and better and better. And then around episode 4, it went from good to being great, and then it was great, amazing. So it was like,
once you get to Claudia just takes over the entire story. She is amazing. The character is amazing, and the actress is amazing.
Yeah. Like
she's
so good.
In both chess scenes, though, I thought was good, because there's the one where she's trying to trip him up, and it's not working, and then
she figures out how to do it. Like, now I got you. But
go ahead. Oh no, go ahead and finish. I was just going to say a little something. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's amazing the way she changed. So she went away when she ran away, because that's what episode 5 we really get into, and that she goes on a hunger strike and stays in a coffin, and she realizes like you have someone I don't, like we just talked about in the Santa Claus, his children. You have someone I don't, and she goes out in the world and tries to find someone, and it doesn't really work out very well. Multiple ways, she falls in love and accidentally kills the person she's in love with, and then she goes out and goes to college. And she, like a lot of women, like 25% of the women out that go to college, has a sexual encounter with someone who does something pretty bad to them, and I thought that was interesting, because that's literally reality for a lot of women as you go. They talked about that the first year you get there. Women, be careful. And she doesn't realize there's other vampires out there, and she still has to be careful. So her going through that was really just intense to me. But
and I don't know if that was in the book.
It helped her grow up. I don't remember it being in the book.
I don't know. Brandon. Yeah, Brandon or Knox. If you're still in the chat, like if you guys know if stuff like that's in the book. going off to college like that.
Because she was younger in the book, right? So she wasn't that age. She was like 12 in the book, I feel like.
I was going to say, right?
Like 5.
Yeah, she was 5 in the book?
She's like a little girl.
Claudia was young. They aged her up,
Man,
I don't remember the college thing being, like I said, they made some alterations.
But it made sense in the context of what we were doing because it really helped Claudia age up. Because she started to see the world differently, and it helped her understand other people's point of view, and her thought process changed. She learned all these different languages. She actually went to school. She went to class. She learned a lot.
Yeah. 5. That's interesting. So she was 5 in the book, and I feel like that's really, really young, like insanely young. But 12. Because I'm guessing in the movie, like Kristen Dunst was like 12, which I think that about right.
Yeah.
And then here she's
about 15, 16. She's 15.
Yeah. And I feel like that's a better age for Claudia, just for story purposes. Is like you're stuck in puberty, and she has issues of that. And I'm like, that would suck, man. That was because like 5 will definitely be stuck, but being stuck in all those hormones 24/7 for years, decades, like that's intense. But 5 is crazy. I didn't know she was 5 in the book.
But it also helps. I guess it helps with the shocks.
Oh, really?
And stuff.
That's
that's too much.
Yeah.
But
but I guess she kind of brought that up, and even in this show, she's because like you said, it's like you have each other. And like she's like, who's gonna F me? And not like that,
exactly.
but literally, like I got things, and neither of you guys want to do it. But then Lestat kind of makes a joke. He goes, "You're really not my type."
I was like, you say that? He was like, I could take one of the team, but it's really not for me. It's not what I
So that was kind of interesting, but Claudia and Lewis's relationship was weird in the books. I bet.
And
they're considered lovers. It was all mentally, but still gross. Yeah, still super gross. I think I prefer this one out of like the book. I don't know much, just besides like now knowing she's 5. I really don't prefer that. The Kristen Dunst one,
was a little too young for me, and I didn't like that.
This one I thought was perfect.
Being 15, almost 16. You're entering your real womanhood, like when
15, 16.
People are starting to look at you that way, but you still look so young that you're never going to be considered an adult. So being stuck in purgatory all the time, forever.
Yeah. But one thing I like too was, you really saw happen with Claudia. You kind of were given it with Louis. Was their voices change? You know what I mean? Like, they start talking differently because they become more well-read. They become more educated. They start to move out of the society that they live in, So Louis starts losing his, Southern, twang kind of talk. And then Claudia had a very, like stereotypical, like black little girl kind of thing that by the end of the season, it was gone. She wasn't talking like that anymore.
Her innocence was gone. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When she went to college and that thing happened to her, which I just don't like talking because I have 2 little girls. But it's just when it happened to her, her innocence left. And then when she tried to run away, she tried to get Louis to go. She thought she escaped Lestat. And for him to find her and make her come back, it changed everything. And
that was a dick move on his part.
Yeah. By the end, he shows how much of an asshole he really is. I mean, he's an asshole, but man.
That's not what shows him an asshole. What about the whole thing with him and Louis?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, with him flying Louis 1,000 feet in the air and dropping him. Yeah, they have not shied away from Lestat's dickheadery. And then they spent years telling him to go to hell. Which
years. This is like a decade.
I'm gonna say it's been a while.
Like I said, I definitely prefer the show. I love the family dynamic in the show. Well, in episode 4.
Yeah. But like you said, it starts to change, because of the innocence part of it. Not only what happened with her in college, but also what happened with her with Lestat. Like her understanding what Louis
was
really
going through.
was going through, and like why he did what he did with her. You know what I mean? It wasn't just to be like an asshole. There was selfishness in it, but
it's very selfish but he needed her, and it's like, and it wasn't like he needed a child as much as he needed her like a sister, and that was someone that I trust and I will give all me to, and will take the same thing, and we could be equals. That's what Louis really wanted. You know, she was a little girl, so they treated her like a little girl, but that's not what he really needed. He really wanted his sister, the one that he lost. That's what he was looking for.
Yeah.
And he found it in her. And as she grew up, and Louis was with her, you know. Yeah. But I also thought it was really interesting that after that happened, and then Lestat kept on coming back with all of these gifts and all these lavish things, and all it took was that one song that really get to Louis, and that was unbelievable.
That was interesting because I think like that, but that's what an abuser does. You know, it's like you only respond to abuse. So when he was doing nice shit, they're like, fuck off. But then, he does a dick move and they're like, they get the response they wanted, So very, very, very toxic relationship.
I had mixed feelings about the beating. Well acted, but in the book, Lestat would never physically hurt Claudia or Louis. Not even after Claudia slit his throat in the book and movie.
Yeah,
Lestat is a different Lestat, and I have to agree.
In this one,
he's totally different, but the relationship is different because even when they finally do let Lestat back in, Claudia laid down the line. You are not my uncle. We are not family. You don't need to say anything to me. I'm here for Louis. I have nothing else to say for you. I'm here because this is what he wants, and I love him so much that I'm going to allow this to happen. But you and I are not anything, and even that the iciness, I thought that was interesting, seeing that dynamic too. Seeing how Claudia and Lestat were like just basically at total ends of each other, and even after all that, the fact that Lestat still made her stay, I didn't see that coming. Because I thought he was going to be like, yes, finally she's gone, and no, he was like, get your ass back here, because
Louis needs you. I thought that was like his like he was able to like, well, also he had his mistress, on the side. So he's like, yeah, I can take care of my own when I need to, but Louis needs you. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
What is it? I can't get over how Louis kicked Antoinette out on her own house. Yeah, Lestat like, damn, gonna take Lestat somewhere else. But that's what Lestat was like. He was like, he didn't care.
That was Louis that did it. Louis did that.
Yeah, Louis too. He's like, get out. And she's like, no. And then Lestat's like, leave.
You probably should leave.
Yeah. The one of the coolest parts of these last 3 episodes was after he drops them. That was like insane. But he comes floating down and like, he's up there, and I'm like, that shot was such a cool shot because, like, I mean, it just looked physically cool. Like he's just kind of standing there, like like very like intimidating. But it's like they're looking up to him, like he's like I'm better than you. Like I am your god. I am your creator. Well, and that's what they said that a few times. Like he's their creator. Which is kind of crazy. So like that was like it was so symbolic. He's like, no matter what, I'm gonna be above you. Like so,
and that's how he treated them, and that's what Claudia really didn't like.
Yeah. Sorry, Brandon. I feel like we keep cutting you off
because you know more than I think you know more, especially because of your mom, and she's the one that turned us on to this. So I want to hear your opinions on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah,
I want to tell us.
No, I really like, we already discussed the changes. Just, I like how they, jumping back and forth with him interviewing Daniel, how they already met previously decades earlier. I thought that was great. Great little alteration to the book. I liked the way this the way this new episode ended, you know, just as someone who read the books, I knew there was something up with that character, and I had a feeling that it
what was his name? What's his name? Ronan or whatever. You were sitting like
Armand.
No, but he not. We know what was his name?
Other name
is the name they tell him. I'm not saying the vampire blah, but I'm saying what was his name beforehand?
I think it was like Ronan or Roan something.
I think it was Ronan.
Because they were calling something
that effect.
Yeah.
So I mean, I thought because it was interesting.
I had
was that that he didn't know that they were going to make him the vampire. He didn't know. When he went in for the casting, Rashid.
Rashid.
Yeah, Rashid. So he thought he was just going to be Rashid, and they said, we want to talk to you about the story. And he was like, why the hell did I need to talk to you guys alone about Rashid? He's just a guy. I'm just a servant, whatever. And they said, no, we're going to do more with him. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And he found out you're going to be the vampire Armand. And they're like, he was like, what the me? I'm going to be that? That's what this is?
Yeah.
And because he in his interview, I thought that was amazing. That was so cool.
I gotta check that out. But yeah, that was great. I mean, it left it open where like I want more so bad. Yeah, Rashid.
Yes, exactly.
He said since he turned Antoinette, so he knew that Louis was contemplating suicide when Claudia left for the train. Yeah, and I think that's what he knew.
Yeah, that was the reason why he needed it.
House of Nerd, y'all have me sold. I'm definitely checking this out. First episode. Check it out, man. Check it out. It gets into a lot of. It gets into race. It gets into
I mean, you're dealing with the South, so you
sexual
already
preferences and
you deal with so much South. You have to deal with this. As you said, sexual preferences in the 1900s. Like it's just
1905.
Between people of two different races in the South. It's amazing. And then them having a daughter, and then how they gone from these rich guys that everyone's like, well, what's going on in that house, to now, oh, that's that old creepy house. Those guys that don't age and something's going on with them. They have like the fountain of youth. And
they think they were satanic because they kept putting like circle of ash or whatever it was.
And Louis always kind of kicked it out the way.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah, it was great. So the actors had a hard time with the beating. Oh yeah, I can't miss that one. Jacob and Louis did a great job. Sam was horrified over Jacob's beating look. Sam kept a blind. Jacob wasn't hurt.
Yeah, if you've seen interviews with Sam Reed, he comes off as like the nicest, most polite dude.
Those guys are always the ones that play the crazy people the best. You know, it's like the nicest person in the world, and they're like, okay, you need a complete jackass. You hate everyone. You're an asshole. You know, but it was always good.
But it's really good, and I love that ending title card, Interview with the Vampire Part 1. I loved it, and I really like I said, I'm really happy that it's adapted into a series because it just suits the content a lot more than a movie did. As much as I like the interview, as much as I like the Interview with the Vampire movie, you know, I hate the Queen of the Damn movie except for the soundtrack. But yeah, I think like there's a lot more potential just to cover everything.
Well, it's so good. The Anne Rice universe is going to be great now because of this. I mean, I'm interested in seeing everything, whatever they got. Because after watching this,
Mayfair Witches, I think it's the next one.
Mayfair Witches, exactly.
Yeah, Mayfair Witches. Like
I want to hammer this home though, real quick while I got a chance. Bailey Bass, we keep on saying how good Claudia is. This little girl, she's 19 years old and stole every scene that she was in. She is amazing. I was just literally with her on the screen. I was mesmerized. Like we talked about earlier, the chess scene and how it foreshadowed what she was doing and how she was planning. She is so amazing. I was just sold on her. Period.
So I'm looking at what else she's in. She's in A Gift of Murder. I haven't heard of that. Pit Shop, Jenkins Family Christmas, but she's going to be in Avatar: The Way of Water, and actually the next few Avatars. So talk about striking it big.
No, but she's so engaging and so powerful of a great actress. I feel like perfect type of movie for her. She probably could carry a scene. You know, it's everything I said about before about Letitia. I feel like this little girl could carry a scene. When she was on the screen, everything.
She's 19.
On her. She's 19 years old.
She's actually 19. So she like played like a teenager, and she's still a teenager. Like, she was amazing,
enthralled. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. That was she was, like you said. I think more people had trouble with Louis being black rather than queer aspect. Like, really? Yeah. I mean, I've been hearing a lot about both, but I was like, it makes sense for both.
Sense.
Yes. You know,
in the South, it just made everything make more sense.
Yeah.
So, and Claudia was MVP. I love her in the show. She was cold-blooded. She really wrote in her diary with Lestat's own blood.
That was sick. That was sick. With a smile on her face. Like, she had a smile, open it up, like, dip. Like,
oh my God, man.
Yeah.
See, I really like the changes to Louis saving Lestat at the end, though it probably is a major implication for season 2. Oh, it definitely is. You know what's going to happen. That, now we have the vampire Armand, his real love of his life, but you know who's still there in the background. Lestat is going to be back. He put him in the place. He wanted to make sure they didn't burn him, and he put him in a place that you knew there were rats. And for the fact that Daniel pointed that out, I love. See, that's what we didn't even talked about. The whole thing between Daniel and I keep thinking of Armand now, but that relationship was unbelievable too. I mean, how it kept on going further and further, and he was like, he realized you're not who you're saying you are. There's more, and being a Pulitzer-winning writer, and also going through all the stuff they went through the first time that he doesn't fully remember.
Yeah,
he started piecing this stuff together slowly, and that was so cold.
I had almost turned off that episode. I had almost, because I thought it was it, and then it kept going. I'm like, oh wait, what is this? And he's got the flat top haircut, and they're at the bar. I'm like, and also I'm like, it's 20 years ago. Like, this ain't it. This wasn't the 80s, right? I mean, they're saying it's supposed to be like the 90s. So I was like,
so I think it was 40 for you. I think it's 40 years.
I think it was like the late 70s or early 80s.
Yeah, which makes more sense because definitely the style of just everything in that scene was, because Rashid,
81, 82,
whatever. Yeah. But yeah, I was like, I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, okay, so this is a callback to how it started, but all that was, hey, like, there's things you did forget,
No, it's just, but him realizing that Rashid was there.
Yeah.
In the early 80s, 40 years ago, and looked exactly the same. And all that time, he thought he was human because Rashid could walk into the sun.
Yeah,
and then that's why he thought he was human. And that was cold in the last scene when he was like, "No, well, after you live a couple hundred years, a couple centuries, the sun don't hurt you anymore." Like, damn, how old are you? He said, "I'm the great vampire Armand." I was like, "Damn, not him."
I was like, "Oh." I had a feeling that was Armand. I had a feeling. Yeah.
Like he said it, and it was like
legit. That was legit like me when he said it. I was like, oh, get out of here. I didn't even, because you're so focused on Lestat and Louis the whole time, and then there's like, get ready for season 2. Like, yes, right now.
Yeah, and that was a great place to end it. It left me wanting more. I'm like,
yes,
that's a great place, but at the same time, damn it.
Yeah. Knox said, do you guys have favorite lines? I think mine is Daniel calling Louis and Lestat whiny existential queen.
That's the most apt. That's the most spot on way to describe the two of them.
That was a good one.
But you know what? I think I loved Daniel when he was first reading Claudia's diaries, and how you see that he was having inflected, like he was thinking about himself and his daughters and how he felt, and then he asked Louis, "Why'd you rip these things out?" He's like, "Did you really want to read some of this stuff that your daughter went through and how you failed her in every single way?" And that's how he explained how you ripped out these pages. Even though Daniel didn't believe him, I thought that was like just deep. I wouldn't want to be in that situation where I'm reading my daughter's diary and not realizing I failed her and I could not do anything about it. Oh, that would kill me.
Yeah. I think that scene played really well because like Daniel, that he's a agitator, so he's like, but is it really, 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 really? And he was like, and I think Louis controls himself usually fairly well, but at that moment it was just like too much.
That was also powerful that it was like all the time Louis can control himself, but as soon as you talk about his girl, you talk about Claudia, Louis ready to rip your throat out. Forget everything else.
Daniel really called out Louis' shot at the end.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that was great. And Daniel really called out Louis' the brief flashbacks to reveal events were great. Yeah. And it was just kind of like this easily placing at the end. I was so close on turning off and going to the next episode, and then I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, oh, okay, because it's AMC. Something AMC like merges things together like that, and I was like, oh, whatever. Like the episode's over, but
no.
Then Louis looked like he was being held hostage when he said, "Armand is the love of my life." I'm like, oh.
It looked like Link Choice. If he needed help, it looked like Get Out. It looked like it was like the black guy from Get Out when he's smiling, he's like crying. He got one tear. Yes, I'm happy.
I know who Armand is, but I don't know the full story between Armand and everyone else. So,
well, Armand is like one of the most powerful vampires ever.
I know he's super old. I know it was because I'm trying to remember because Erica that told me, she goes, oh, he was in the original movie. I was like, was he? He goes, yeah, it was Antonio Banderas. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, that's right.
Oh, we lost him.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, he was an ancient in the books.
Yeah, ancient. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah, we got you back.
I want to say he was an ancient in the books. Like I said, it's been a while. I read the books when I was a teenager, but yeah, that opens a lot more doors.
He's not still a teenager. I know he looks like he's a teenager. He looks like he's a teenager, right? But he's not still a teenager. He's actually older than me. We call him Claudio off film. Let's let you guys know. That's what we call
Claudio. Personally, I love the dabble and the fuckery line in episode 2. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Louis. Right before we got yeah.
Rollins compared the ending to The Graduate with I'm gonna say an unknown feeling for what's to happen.
Yeah, but isn't that kind of what you felt?
Yeah,
and like we knew, so we're at the end and we know now that Daniel kind of blew the casket out. So it's funny because the vampire Armand looked pissed when Daniel said, "What? Don't you know? Lestat's still alive," and he looked pissed and concerned at the same time because he knows that Lestat is still his creator, and there's a connection that he can never have.
That bond.
Yeah, that can never have, never can repeat. So that's going to be really interesting seeing how that they play with that. And then now that Armand has, obviously, he's just as powerful. Or Lestat is very powerful. He's not as powerful as Armand, but he's very powerful. So how is that going to change everything? That's going to be interesting too.
But it makes it a little bit more interesting now with like going back and thinking at the previous episodes. Is like, can you imagine telling somebody your life and your sexual escapades while the person, like your wife is right there? It's like, like going back, I'm like, oh man, that had to have been like, it makes sense why Rashid is like, and I'm leaving right now. Like, is there anything else? Because I need to head out. I can't hear this. And it makes more sense, like going back and thinking about those parts. I'm like, oh, okay. So it wasn't just a servant excusing himself. It was a lover saying, I don't want to hear the shit you did before.
But it wasn't kind of interesting that he had other humans coming in, letting him drink their blood and all that stuff.
I'm gonna put some.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, nothing. I was just going to put something on display that Knox said that I think needs to be said, but finish your thought first, Brian.
No, I just thought that it's interesting that he was bringing in these other people that they're sucking their blood, like these humans that were like, letting them do their stuff because it seemed very sexual in nature in itself too, and the fact that Rashid was bringing them to him was just interesting. I thought that was just kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Their relationship, and just how good they were with it, and how submissive they were to it.
Yeah, exactly. They were also just how he was feeding off of Armand, right?
Which was weird because he's a vampire.
Yeah, he was.
Mm-hmm. So how do you feed off of vampire?
Ancient blood? I don't know.
I guess it's kind of like the sun. Like when they talk about the sun, like it's like it doesn't affect you after so many years. You almost become more like human, which means you're more like more predator because there's less things that stop you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Could that be what Louis waiting on, and that's why he's doing all these things? Rashid is doing all this stuff because eventually he's gonna get old enough that the sun won't bother him again, and he'll be able to step out into the sunlight too.
They can like live a life like normal-ish. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Vampires sucking each other blood is like sex in the books. So they did it in front of Daniel Salad. That's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. So, oh my bad. Was that the one you were talking about?
Oh no, you're fine. Yes.
Pretty interesting how people had so many problems with Louis being black in the show. Yet no one said anything about Antonio Banderas portraying a white-haired vampire who looks 17. People are weird.
Probably because back in the early mid 90s, even though the internet existed, people weren't really able to use it as like a platform and like a safe haven for raging incels like they do now. So I'm sure it was common, but it wasn't that as common now as it is nowadays.
Yeah.
But no, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say.
No, he's absolutely right.
Yeah, I was going to say like having. Even then, having what's his name, Tom Cruise play Lestat. I know Brandon says all the time, it's cool having an actual French, sounding person, play Lestat rather than Tom Cruise, with his like Valley accent or whatever accent he has.
I thought he was French.
I
was like, oh, you're Australian?
Yeah, Tom Cruise.
Like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Tom Cruise seemed like he was doing something with his voice at the time, and I don't know what the hell Stuart Townsend was doing. I want to think Stuart Townsend was doing or attempting a French accent, but most of the time it just came off like his natural Irish accent.
Yeah. That's very true.
So,
steering to the skid with that one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So we've been kind of going on for a little while with this one.
Sorry.
I know. I mean, we love this show. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did. Like it was really, really good. I definitely gave it a chance, and I'm so glad I did. So you know what?
Let's rate it.
Yeah. Let's do season 1 or part 1, technically, of Interview with the Vampire on AMC. 7 episodes. So we're gonna do a now, later, or never. Brandon, what are you gonna rate this one? Season 1.
This is very much a very easy and very enthusiastic now. I actually now that all the episodes are out, I'm probably gonna rewatch it just in one sitting, maybe this Sunday or something like that. You know, I love. There's so much great stuff to be had. The performances are really top notch around the table. You know, we've been sitting here singing the praises of Claudia Bass, Sam Reed, Jacob Anderson. I think everything is great around the table. The set design and the costuming is great. Everything about it, you know, I just absolutely love. You know, even the changes that they made were very much for the benefit of the show, in terms of the narrative they're going for. I'm really excited not only for part 2, which has already been made official. I'm hoping it comes a little quicker than season 2 of House of the Dragon does. I hope we don't have to wait until 2024 for it. I want to see more Vampire Chronicles content. I want to see a proper telling of, like I've said many times, a proper telling of Vampire Lestat. I want to see a proper telling of the Queen of the Damned. I want to see the Tale of the Body Thief. I want to see Ramses the Damned. There's a lot they can do with this content. You know, Anne Rice certainly wrote more than enough, and I think AMC is a great medium for it. So this goes without saying. It's very much a now.
Yeah. Awesome. What about you, Brian?
This is not a now. If you're watching this and you haven't seen the episode, you should stop. Pause us. Go watch it right now. Like you're already behind. And you know what? I actually love the little things that we get from the director and afterwards. You know, like, you know, the insight into each character and why they're doing that and how they created that episode. I think that was so good. So it's not just I thought it was amazing. I think it's amazing, and I think that you need to really put yourself in that world and really enjoy it. And you're gonna be at the end of the last episode like it's over. So what are we gonna do now? It's like the end of the Truman Show, but the black guys is in the tub. He's like, so what do I do now? That's what happens at the end. You like, it's like, so what do I gotta do now on Sundays? I don't know what else to do. I watched that at 1 o'clock in the morning. I was so mad. I was like, man, I gotta go the whole rest of this day, 23 more hours. I ain't got nothing else to do. I guess I'll watch football.
Right. Okay.
So this is definitely a now. It's amazing. Exactly what everyone was saying. The fact that Jacob Anderson is British, I didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe Sam Reed was Australian. I was like, he's not French. He's not French. What?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So, just his mannerisms, the way he acted, and the way he moved was very, as an American, very Frenchish. So reminded me as a French person.
But Bailey Bass, I told you, I think she's a home run. I expect to see her a lot of things, and this is a super now for me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like you said, Knox said, I can't believe Sam Reed's Australian. Jacob Anderson is British. They did great jobs. How to become the best, and love how they became best friends. Oh, really? I didn't know. That's pretty cool. They always hang out now. Their chemistry is so good.
Yeah, it is. Very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then Horror Geek 9 said, love the show, and I'm super excited for season 2. I will probably give Mayfair Witches a watch when it's out.
Yeah, me too.
Same.
Me too.
I don't know anything about that story, but just knowing it seems like it's going to be, what do they call it? The Immortal Universe.
Yeah.
That's what it's dubbed in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And maybe all of them possibly, linking over. I think that'll be super awesome.
I know nothing Mayfair Witches. All I know is it's got Alexandra Daddario, so I will watch it.
Yeah,
he was done. Yep. He was like, "Yes, yes, sir. Please, can I have more."
Exactly. Also, one of our channel buddies, the Cult Lords, they did a trailer reaction to the Mayfair Witches, and that was the first thing they said was Alexander, what's his name? Daddario was in it, and just like yes. Yes, that's all you needed.
Yeah, that's all I needed. I saw her in the trailer, and it was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
You got lost in her eyes. You're just like,
eyes.
Sure, that's what we're looking at.
Yeah. And then Knox said rated 8 out of 10. This show is one of the best I've seen in a while. It's one of the rare adaptations where the diversity enhances the story.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm loving whatever changes that I've heard they've done. I love it. I love it all so far. Well, and that being said, I'm giving it a now. like for sure. It was right from the start. It was great. I know House of Nerd Show was in here and they didn't watch it. Go watch it. Go watch it this weekend. All the episodes are out. You can, like you said, you can binge them 2 days, Saturday, Sunday. You know, watch a couple and then a couple more. Yeah, it's gonna be a show that once you start watching, you're just like another and then another, and you just like you keep wanting it, you know. And then by the end of it, you're just like, okay, the next episode, and there's not one, and you're like,
next. I said next.
Like I said, I'm making plans to rewatch it all in one sitting. I feel like it's gonna flow very like even better than it did from week to week. You know, I'm excited to rewatch it. You know,
TV Louis over Book Louis.
By landslide. I agree. Because you know what?
Thank you.
Book Louis was a little it's a whiny bitch. I don't know what else to say it. I like the way they did it. And it kind of explains it more. Explains his personality more. And you can understand where we're coming from. And I just thought that was perfect.
Yeah. Book and movie was Louis was born.
That's the only one I know. Absolutely right. Yeah, they really made him a much more layered character and a much more engaging. No respect to Brad Pitt. Jacob Anderson is just like leaves him in the dust in the role.
Yeah, it's just crazy how saying like you prefer these no names compared to Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. You know, but these guys are I don't know if they're doing it better, if it was better director or they're getting time, you know, like Brandon, you were saying, like time to actually explore who these characters are. You know, it's just, it's working way better.
Giving time to explore the characters is huge.
Yeah.
I think they thought it through a little more thoroughly in terms of their approach, in terms of the updates, which ended up working to its advantage. In terms of just this was the way to go. The TV, the TV show direction, this was the way to go. I'm kind of inclined to say, you know, make more. Go the TV show out with more novels like this. There's more room to do it justice. And to make changes to its advantage, you know, just to it's a better way to handle it to me.
Yeah,
you know, so you know, like they're making series out of a lot of books that I like they're doing the Percy Jackson series on Disney Plus, which I can't wait for because I absolutely love those books and I despise the movies. The TV show is the way to go.
So Daddario doesn't matter in those movies?
Well, she's the only thing that did.
Oh, so that's not what you said. That's not what you said.
I forgot she was in there.
I didn't.
Oh yeah. That was my introduction to her, actually.
Yep, me too.
Yeah.
Like I never understood why all these crazy vampires fell in love with Book Louis. TV Louis has way more agency and depth. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We do the last one, and then we'll end it here. I love how Louis used his race and queerness to isolate him more. Yeah, which pushed him more into giving into vampire life. Exactly, yes. And how it showed that it doesn't matter. Louis was black. Louis still's black. Louis still black. Yeah. You know, it was interesting. Yeah, the whole thing.
He's a vampire, but he's still black, and they always saw him as black. And even when he tried to make these business deals, he was still a black man in the South, no matter what. And they looked, even if he was good, they looked down on him, even though he had all the money, all the power, everything. They still looked down at him. And when he lost his temper and tore that other dude in the inspector guy, and he just tore his throat out.
Yeah,
I was like, I felt myself going, yes. I mean,
no, I was like, oh. Then they show it, and you're like, holy, whoo, man! They saved all their budget for that last scene. Well done with that too.
So I'll let you know.
Right. Yeah. Cold-blooded. Yeah.
Cold-blooded.
All right. Let's we've been going on with this one for like damn near an hour. All right, but no, man, it was a great show. We loved it. It was the finale too, season finale. So it's definitely finales when they're done well. You usually have a lot of feelings about it. So, and this one was definitely done well. And we all feel very, very excited about this show.
Chef kiss. That was great.
Yes. Very well done. Very well done.
It was. Yeah, I was really waiting for this show. Like from the second they announced it, it did not disappoint. It was definitely worth the wait.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And as soon as we get season 2, we're definitely gonna do a weekly. Next time season 2, we're doing weekly watches.
That way it won't be as long.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Easily.
But you know what? If you guys are watching this on replay, get in the comments and let us know what you thought about this, because this is one of those shows I feel like if everyone gave it a chance, they will fall in love immediately. So I want to know what you guys think. Would you get maybe you listen to the review and give it a chance? Tell us what you think. Tell us how it made you feel. Were you able to tell someone else about it? And are you excited about this whole universe? I think this universe is going to be amazing. So we'll see. Yeah. I can't wait to see season 2.
It's got me really excited for what happens next. When you leave me wanting more like that, you've accomplished your mission.
Yep. So on AMC is finishing up Walking Dead, and it looks like this is gonna slide right in and take its place. So, we'll see how season 2 goes. And if you're watching live or on replay, go check out our Facebook group. Link in the description. We usually post different news, updates, rumors, and stuff like that. Like we finally got a release date for another show we liked. I threw it up there. So if you want to know, make sure you check us out there, and go check us out on Twitter. We hang out and talk a lot of crap on Twitter too. So
and don't forget to like and subscribe. If you guys are not subscribed, please like, subscribe, comment. Always.
Yes.
Thank you guys.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. If you're watching live, we got a big giveaway coming up at 500. So don't want to miss that. But
almost there, guys.
Almost for this episode. I know, almost like 23 or so. But let's